Phoenix. We are now joined by Adam Stevens, the crew chief of the number 20 Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota, with driver Christopher Bell. Adam, why don't you just take us quickly through your session out there?
Okay. Yeah, we unloaded pretty close this time. That was good. Had decent short run speed and decent long run speed, and just made a couple of changes, and they both seemed to improve the car, and it was a good practice for us.
Awesome. We're going to get started with questions. We'll go to Bob, Jenna, and then Lee.
Bob Pockers, Fox Sports. Your drivers never led a lap here in a cup race, so was it more important maybe for you to have a good practice session and be atop the chart than for others?
I mean, it was very important. I don't know if it was more important because we've never led a lap, but I don't think we're going to win this thing if we don't lead laps. We just started so far off last time that we had a lot of ground to cover to even get in the mix. So starting closer just puts you in a lot better position. We don't have to make big changes, we think, to be balanced and be fast on Sunday. So starting a lot closer this time.
Go to Jenna.
Jenna Fryer, AP. Adam, last year was so terrible. The morning of, and you guys still went out and raced. How much different will it be this year that you had this horrible experience last year and you went through the day and made it, and now, knock on wood, everything goes right into Sunday?
Yeah, it'll be a lot different. I don't remember the time of day that we were starting to hear that something horrible had happened. It was pretty early in the day. And then we got the news, and then we had to figure out if Jackson was going to be willing and able to participate, as he was my front changer. And it just took you completely away from prepping for the race, focusing on changes and doing all that stuff that we do every week, to worried about your teammates, worried about coach, worried about the Gibbs family, worried about Jackson. And that went all the way up until the drivers were riding around the racetrack in the trucks. And it was awful. And not just for me and my team, obviously. So that'll be a big relief to kind of have a calendar year in between that and this weekend, and have a little bit of healing for the Gibbs family, and hopefully we can bring a trophy home.
Did it affect Christopher?
That's a good question for Christopher. I know that it did. I would assume that it did, as it did me prior to the race, but once we got racing, I wasn't thinking about it. There's not a lot of space between my two little ears to cram much more in there. And I know once he gets his helmet on that he's super focused on the task at hand, but I don't know how it couldn't weigh on you when somebody you're so close to passes so suddenly like that.
We'll go to Lee, then Jordan, and then Zach.
Well, before that, you were the first guy to come in here with a smile. So,
Really?
you seem, and it's probably all the years that you've come and run the championship for. This isn't your first rodeo. I mean, you come in here with confidence. Mm-hmm. Bell yesterday was probably the most animated of the four drivers, from, appearing confident. And I think, all of that kind of plays into this. What's your level of confidence? And to follow up on Jenna, how cathartic would it be to win a championship after such a dark, year last year?
Yeah, confidence level is just super high. I mean, I know the equipment that we have. I know the progress we've made through the year. I know the potential that Bell has, and my team in general. I know if we do what we're capable of doing, that it's right there in front of us. And I don't know how you couldn't feel ecstatic about that, and I do. And I think we've gotten off on a good foot here this weekend. And I feel wonderful. I just can't wait to get back out there and cut some more laps, to be honest with you. But, the cathartic question, that would be amazing. I remember the 11 winning the Daytona 500, racing us, actually, the 18. And what year was that? A few years ago. After JD passed. And that was just a huge deal. Huge for Coach, huge for the Gibbs family, huge for us, and for myself to have a part in that because we were racing them and we worked on some restarts to make sure we didn't lose track position and because the Fords were really fast that day and that was big for the company and I would absolutely love to be a part of that for Coach.
Jordan Bianchi, the Athletic, kind of following up on Lee's a little bit. This is old hat for you. You've been here many times, and so a lot of people in this situation, it's a lot to deal with first time. Like for you, it's just no big deal. Like you and your guys have been here, done that, and you just know how to handle everything that's thrown at you, essentially this weekend.
I mean, there's some comfort level that comes with doing it. Whether we know how to handle everything, I don't know what's going to be thrown at me quite yet. But as far as what I expect to be thrown at me, yeah. It's a different weekend. There's a whole different level of distraction and enormity and gravity on the situation. And you also have to think, too, every day of every year we work to put ourselves to be in this position that we're in right here today. And that's true on races that we're winning, and that's true when we're getting our asses kicked. We're trying to make it to race for a championship. And how could you not enjoy yourself when you get here is the question I would ask.
And Christopher's been here now, obviously, the second time, but he's still young, still learning this a little bit to some degree. Does it help that you just have this wisdom and this kind of the veteran presence to kind of guide him through, like, hey, expect this, expect that, and you can kind of.
I hope it helps. I'm sure it helps a lot of the guys on the team that haven't maybe been in a situation like this. But yeah, at the end of the day, 2015, my rookie year, we won the championship, and I didn't have any of that experience, right? And I felt more prepared the next year, and we got our asses kicked. So does it help? I'm sure it helps, but it could probably be overstated a little bit too.
We'll go to Zach, Kelly, and then Jonathan.
Zach Sterniolo, NASCAR.com. Adam, Christopher said yesterday that you guys have made gains on it every time you guys have come here with this next-gen car. Obviously, that's the goal every time you come to the racetrack is to be better than you were last time. But what is it about the work that has gone into prepping this car for this weekend, and where do you feel like this 20 team is at coming back to Phoenix?
I think we're right in the mix. This is a tough place to get around, and it's not exactly like any of the other short tracks. And we've had good runs at all of them. It had a good run here in the spring. We didn't have the best finish, but we were certainly in the mix late in the race before that final caution. And it's just about the feedback, quite honestly. And what also helps is having teammates that are fast. And, you are learning from them. You're learning from things that work from them. You're learning from things that don't work. And sprinkling a little bit of that into your car every time you come back and figuring out what Christopher needs. And the biggest part about figuring out what Christopher needs is him figuring out what he needs and how to communicate that to us so we can give it to him. And I think that's where we've made strides this year. And maybe it hasn't shown completely in the results, but it's shown a lot in the speed, I think. And when we do our jobs, we keep them up front.
We're going to go to Kelly, and then we'll wrap with Jonathan.
Kelly, CrandallRacer.com. Adam, two things that Bell also said yesterday was he feels more relaxed this time versus last year, and he feels more prepared. You guys obviously having clinched 2 weeks earlier than you did last year. Does that also play into why you feel like you guys maybe unloaded today better than last year? Do you feel more prepared instead of the last-minute walk-off at Martinsville, whereas Bell said you guys didn't even talk or mention Phoenix until that night?
Yeah, for sure. The earlier you're going to be there, the more you can put a little bit more focus on it. And we certainly did Martinsville week. We went through all the same motions we would go through to prepare for Martinsville, but we just condensed it down big time. And we didn't reiterate, and we didn't go back, and we didn't stew over any decisions. We just kind of let it rip. And we could have been better at Martinsville had we spent more time on it, but I think it would have cost us being prepared here. And, from the time that probably – late last week, our sim sessions were going really well. I just felt really at peace with what we had going on as late as probably Thursday last week. And we refined on it and got better through the weekend and into early this week. And, honestly, we were ready to load quite early in the week because we felt like we knew where we wanted to be.
Go ahead, Jonathan.
Jonathan Field, the racing experts. Of course, Jason Radcliffe retiring from full-time crew chief duties after this weekend. How big has he been in just your development as a crew chief?
really big. Yeah, I mean, Jason's been a part of Joe Gibbs Racing for a long time and extremely successful. And what he does and how he operates to be successful was immensely affected how I prepare and approach a weekend and prepare the race car. When they asked me to come crew chief in the Xfinity shop, I guess that would have been 2011 with Joey. I came from race engineering on the Cup side, and it's a lot different job, and there's a lot more to it. And he was always there to guide and help, just the level of detail that he pours into his program was not something I was prepared for. So, and let's tell you a little story here. I remember when Joey and I were racing in 2011, and we weren't going that well. And my car, we had a lot of drivers in my car. We had Ryan Truex, we had Drew Herring, we had some others. And Joey and I probably weren't having the success that maybe we thought we should be having. And he actually ran some races with Jason in his car, and they were good. And just watching him communicate with Joey and the questions he asked him and how he pulled information out of him had a big effect on me. Just watching him take my driver in cars that I know how they're prepared and do a better job than what I was doing. Jason's door was always open. He always would answer a question. Extremely thankful for his influence.
All right, Adam, thanks for joining us today. Good luck on Sunday.
All right, guys, thank you.